Welcome to episode 19 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip-hop, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet, but mostly woke perspective. So, I'm Sean.
What up, y'all? I'm not.
Hey, we're live.
Hey, we live.
We in these streets. Drinking. Didn't have breakfast yet.
No.
But,
what you drinking, Sean?
What you bring back from Mexico? The Aja Toro.
Yeah, so I went to Mexico a couple weeks ago for my birthday, and I was in the airport, and I got talking to buying this. It's called Aja Toro, and it's a tequila, which I'm not a tequila drinker. I'm not
a tequila drinker either, but let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey drinker, but this is a cream tequila that the salesman said you can only get in Mexico. But it's a chocolate cream, which is delicious. So I bought this. It's a heavy bottle. It's like a keepsake bottle, so I won't be getting rid of this.
So good.
But it's really good.
It's so good. A bitch was trying to have grits and some sausage this morning.
All I got is alcohol.
Was like, I got some new vodka for you.
Let me tell you, if you come to my house expecting to have some food, you're gonna have some water, some chips, and some liquor.
Well, if you have 4 chips left, I was like, I don't even want to do that to you. I'm gonna leave them 4 chips.
So I'm sipping on Ocam. I'm a whiskey drinker. So I came across this when I lived in, I didn't live in Alabama, but I spent a few months there last year, and I kind of became a whiskey connoisseur. So the bartender put me onto this. This shit is bomb.
It's so good. Remember when you came down to Miami and you put me on to that?
Yes, it's bomb. It's Ocam. It's a peach pecan whiskey. You open this up and it's like, you can use this to aromatize your room. Right. That's a new word.
Put it in the bathroom.
Yeah, it smells so good. And you don't need to mix it. You can, but you don't really need to.
You don't need nothing. That's why you don't have ice.
Yeah, she's like, ice. I'm like, you don't know the bitch house you came to. You done been here before. You know I ain't got shit in here.
This is the house, not home.
Right. I just come here to sleep.
I love it. All right, well, I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, I'm happy you're here. We had a good time.
We did. Always a good time.
Yesterday we hung out in Brooklyn at this
which is such a difference for me. Brooklyn is totally different than what it used to be.
I love Brooklyn,
but it was cool.
Brooklyn. I love hanging out in Harlem, but I love to go to Brooklyn from time to time. So we were out there hanging out at our Wicked Lady. Yeah, it was Coulsons cookout. So they had like several DJs there. They had food, they had liquor, good music, good times. I had some friends of me out there, so I had a good time.
And they had the I like the pina colada maker with the drinks. They had the rosé Slurpees. I love that. It's always a great time. So definitely enjoying it. All right, so get into the ratchet minute. What do we got?
Oh, Lord. So one of our listeners, I'm sure you're out there. I don't know if you want me to mention your name, but she hit me up and she wanted us to talk about R. Kelly and this 19-minute fucking song.
Yes. So we did listen to it last night. I was holding on. I think we did about 18 minutes of it. I admit.
I honestly, I think I lost consciousness a couple times because I'm like,
we were driving across Grand Central Parkway, and I mean, he's admitting to a lot of things, and that's what I heard. He fucked a friend's girlfriend or whatever in a hotel, and he admits that he can't read, and he's dyslexic and can't read on the teleprompter. We all knew that. He talks about the interview that he gave to Wendy Williams. And Wendy Williams, she talked about it on the show, but she said, I guess he told her everything, but she did not reveal what it was. But he said, I talked to her and I gave her my story. He talked about being molested as a child. And it wasn't clear whether it was a man or a woman. Did you get that?
I believe from a story that I read before, it was an older woman. And it may have been a family member, but I believe it was an older woman.
And he said it went on till he was about 14 years old when he was like a kid. So, I mean, I heard that. He talked about Aaliyah, and he said, he married her for love. And now he married a 15-year-old.
I think that was the part where I was unconscious.
Yeah, it went out. It went out.
I tried.
Connection lost.
How I feel about R. Kelly. He just grinds me. But I just, what I really would want for him to do, and I think, and this is for him, not more for us, but more so for him. I just want him to get help because clearly this man is in pain. He's in trouble mentally, and I really just want him to get help so that he can stop hurting himself and he can stop hurting other people. I just want him to get help. There is an issue here, and when people do things that he's doing with young girls and abusing women, they come from a place of pain and a place of abuse. And I want him to get help, and anyone else who's in these kind of situations, get help so you can stop the cycle of abuse. You can stop it, you know. I actually watched an interview that his ex-wife did. I watched it on YouTube. Who was interviewing
Andrea.
Yeah, I think Frank Ski and Wanda interviewed her. And she just talked a little bit about the abuse that
she calls him a monster.
Yeah, she talked about his abuse and her getting away, and you know, and how it affected her kids. You know, she would go to, and she thought she was protecting them, but they would go to school.
He says he hasn't seen his kids in years.
Yeah, she said the same thing. Yeah. She said there's a difference between child support and child funding. She gets child funding, not child support. She gets the money, but she doesn't get the actual support that she needs to raise these kids. She made it clear. But she said, you know, the kids would go to school and, you know, and the kids' parents, the friends' parents wouldn't allow the kids to come over to the house and spend time with them because they would be like, you know, he's a molester. He's a kid. You know, he's a molester. Wow. Does he molest you? You know, just, you know, it's a lot of stuff that, this has affected their kids and their homes. But I just really want him to get help. I think I would be in a better place with R. Kelly if he just admit, because out of the whole 19 minutes that he
never said anything about it.
He didn't admit shit.
Well, what he did say was it's all a made up story. Like these women, they weren't captives, and
he's not admitting anything.
He has some sexual deviancies. He talked about how he was broke, you know, and then he's touring or he has to make music. He was living in the Homewood Suites hotel for a while.
He's not admitting to what the damage that he's doing to these people and to these girls and to these women. He's not admitting to it. He's skirting around the issue. He's telling us stuff that we already know. But he just really needs to get help. I want him to get help.
I agree with you. I like how you made our ratchet minute go woke real quick.
Sorry. I just have a thing with R. Kelly. He just grinds my gears, and I just have a thing about abuse and abusing kids. I just don't like it, and
Of course.
Yeah, no one likes it. So, you know, I just really want him to get help. I want him to get help.
I don't think he's on the path for help in light of 19 minutes, if I admit.
Girl, it's 19 minutes. I just won't get back in my life.
I know you were done and over with. I was still trying to. I was saying it for it. I was still trying to hear it.
I was off thinking about something else.
Yeah. So whatever. All right. Okay. Moving on. Mm-hmm. What else do we have?
For Ratchet, you have something.
I did. So I had two things. So just a little. So Drake is wearing a lace front beard.
That's not his beard.
Yes, with it.
Wait a minute. Because let me tell you something. Drake went from being real corny looking with the fro and like the no facial hair, and then when he cut his hair low and he got that beard, I was like, oh,
Poppy can get it.
Something is happening down there.
Yeah.
No, Poppy Champagne. What's Champagne Poppy?
Champagne Poppy can get it. No, so look, I am not an enemy to the lace fronts.
I am. I completely am.
I am not when they look real. So that's the new thing, you know. Men are wearing lace front beards, and truth be told, they look good.
I'm not a fan of it, and I know this is the pot calling the kettle black because I you know I'm an open book. I call them weeds, but you know I do have added hair sometimes. I have added hair right now.
Added hair,
but I do wear my added hair, and you know you may you can't run your fingers through it because I will stop you.
Mm-hmm. But I hate that shit. I hate that shit with a passion. Do not put your hand in my hair.
Don't do it.
Oh my God.
And this is TMI. So yeah, I can tell a story.
Okay.
So my old boo used to pull my hair. Like, what's that? Oh, but he can pull my real hair. You can't pull my fake hair because this shit will come out in your hair.
Well, then you never pulling my hair. There's always going to be something going on here. It's like I have hair. I'm just like, I'm not wearing that.
So the thing is, I've seen some of these videos where they actually show the process of putting these lace fronts on these men. And I just can't. I cannot do it. It totally transformed these men. Like they
looking like a snack.
You know what I'm saying? The first picture is looking like somebody's crusty old granddaddy,
and like looking like a snack afterward.
But I promise you, if I run my fingers through your hair and I feel a track, that is it.
But it's not even a track anymore.
I don't care what it is.
It's the Swiss lace. It feels like skin. It's glued down. So I'm telling you, you know what? This 2018 going 2019. It's new and improved here. All that
I can't get.
All of those days of getting caught up is gone.
I can't. So we have progressed. Like we progressed from the Beijing. Beijing. Philly dudes, y'all representing on that.
Y'all got a whole new ball game going on now. I like it. Look, however you can get it. If you can't grow it, you can buy it. This is America.
That's sure. That ain't me.
Yeah, no. I like it. I like it.
I wonder what his real beard looks like.
It's probably no connect. You know, like it probably.
But you know what? That's okay. That's like I love
it's not beard. Okay.
Look, I love beards. I love beards. I love nice full beards. But if your shit don't connect, that's cool too. That's cool too. You know, I like. It doesn't always have to connect. You know.
Anyway.
No, like no vagina is the same. No two vaginas are the same. No two beards are the same. You gotta appreciate them for what it is.
But some, they don't have that connection right here, and it'd be like, it's okay. 2 countries, 2 continents.
It's okay.
So I like it. Anyway, all right, moving on. So we must give a shout out to Stevie J and Faith, who have secured the bag.
Okay.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
They have landed a $5 million deal with what's the chick named Mona Scott for VH1. They're doing a reality show. We knew it, and we knew it.
Of course.
Bag is secured.
Why else would you marry Dirty Dick?
You know, I want to believe. I want to believe in love. You know, I'm an optimist when it comes to that. So I want to believe that they actually has some love going on, and you know, they've been down for a while. Like they've known each other for what, 2 decades, over 2 decades. So I want to believe that I want to believe in love. Okay, I believe. But that $5 million check, look, I'll marry you for the $5 million. We can do a reality show.
You know what I'm saying, Mona Scott? Come on now.
Like, where we living?
Come on, Mona. Is you listening?
For real. You know, we get matching tattoos and all. Ain't no thing.
All right. So I'm not mad. I'm not hating. You got to get your money, and if she's happy, be happy. Happiness comes in a lot of different forms. There
you go. So I told you my 2 cents about it though, and not to be disrespectful to them, but there was a substance abuse issue there, and I think that's one of the places that they bonded.
Do you think they can keep each other sober?
Maybe they each other sober coach, whatever. I think like real talk. I think that's a part of that. What that is, they have both gone through substance abuse issues. Like maybe that's the way that they are, keep each other accountable. They're accountable buddies.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. So before we move off the ratchet, I just want to touch on Friday night BBQs.
Let me tell you this chick. I haven't been to BBQs in 8 years since I lived here. We went twice. We went twice.
We sure did. The food is solid. I'm sorry. The honey barbecue chicken. I'm forever. I know what I'm getting.
They do have this new thing on the menu, chicken and waffles with like this honey mustard kind of sauce. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, you had
I had it twice. Yeah. The waffle's like nice and thick. It has like something in it, cheese and something.
It's cheese and jalapenos or something. It's really, really good. Yeah. Well, I want to talk about home dude that served us.
Oh,
Mr. Passive Aggressive with his cute fine ass.
I think he had sex with us with his eyes. Like we were in a threesome with his eyes.
He like barked at us like, "Do you need anything else? Y'all ladies need anything else?"
His eye contact was so intense.
I just felt like
this dude can like talk you out of your clothes easily.
So wait, when we got sitting there, I was like, well, I mean, he came to the table and he was off. Like, y'all need anything else? I don't know.
He was talking. I was like, oh.
I was like,
I am done my shirt. What you mean?
I was like, he is so aggressive.
Right. How you want it?
I like it. I'm like,
how you want it, Daddy?
I like it. Like, he's making me hot over here, yelling at me and yelling at us.
Took control. He was very
intense. Passive aggressive ass.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That was something else.
I liked it.
Y'all need anything else?
What was his name?
George.
Yeah.
I told you you should have hollered at George. George could have got it.
Little chocolate cell. Morsel. Chocolate morsel. You know, I love little chocolate morsels.
We're supposed to sit here like this. Like, damn, we just yelled at this, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. All right. Moving on after my drink is almost done.
You want some more?
Of course.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. I still want some grits and sausage though. All right, that's good. I got me over here. It's hot too because we had to turn off the AC so y'all can hear us. Lord of mercy. And so hot and alcohol don't mix. All right. So getting into, are we in the woke minute now?
We're in the woke minute.
All right. Yeah. What you got?
So, I just kind of wanted to touch on this. Really don't want to talk about it, but I guess we have to. Last week, we all heard about this killing that happened in Oakland to Nia Wilson.
Yes.
She and her sister were standing on the Bay Area Rapid Transit platform in Oakland, and they both were attacked by John Cowell. He actually slit Nia's throat and stabbed her sister, and unfortunately, Nia died at the scene. We're really unclear on what prompted this attack. I read that they were on the same train, in the same car and train.
Yeah.
They had no interaction. And then once they got off and got on the platform, he attacked them both. Some say it was racially motivated because Kyle was white and, of course, the girls are black. His family says that he suffers from mental illness. He's been diagnosed as bipolar and schizophrenic. He's also had a violent past. He was convicted of second-degree robbery and assault with a deadly weapon in 2016. He's been in and out of jail, living on the streets. And at one point, his family had a restraining order of a protection against him.
Oh, wow.
But I don't buy that. They always say that these white men have like these, and he may have a mental issue. That's fine. But he knew what he was doing, because after the attack, he discarded his clothes. He got rid of his book bag. He wiped off the knife. That's not something you do when you're mentally not there. He knew what he was doing. He was there mentally. So it's still under investigation. He is in custody. But that's kind of where we are right now. After this murder, they did march and have a vigil for her, for Nia. So it's a sad story. She was a beautiful, beautiful girl. She's just 18 years old. Just 18 years. She's a baby. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl.
Yeah. First of all, my condolences to Nia Wilson's family and friends. It's always sad when you hear a life that's cut so short. And just understanding the type of person that she was. And I think I heard from her godfather, and he said something. He said, in this day and age, kids are so selfish, and she was like the kindest, most beautiful soul. She would give you the shirt off her back, so she just sounded like a, really a beautiful young girl that was just tragically cut down at the very beginning of her, her life. So, and her sister, the tragedy of her sister witnessing, the death and so on. So, but just in hearing the story, I mean, I'm still. I listened to the fact that he had a criminal past and, was in and out of jail, and his family had gotten a restraining order against him, and he was already diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and all this other stuff. I'm not exactly sure if it was racially motivated. I think, we want we want a reason for why it happened. We want something, and what we can see is two black girls in a train station and a white guy. Do we know 100% that it was he chose them specifically because of their skin color? I don't know that that's the case as of yet. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe it'll come out later on. I don't know. I know that they talked about the treatment that he received, even in his arrest, how it was very nonviolent, and they found him 2 or 3 days later, and without incident, and just comparing that to some of the other arrests and the killings was and I just like this is America.
He was handled with gentle hands.
Yeah, with kid gloves.
Yeah,
and that you could see it. You know, this killer, and you know, they talk about how after the killing, like he stood there. The sister Latifah, and she said how he stood at the platform. You know, wiped his knife off and watched as Nia lay dying. It's cold-blooded, you know, cold-blooded. But I think this opens the conversation for, you know, not just. I mean, we have issues with prejudice and racism, but there's the mental health issues is real too, because regardless of whether it was racially motivated, there is a mental illness here that was a catalyst for this killing as well. So you know, opening that discussion.
Yeah, you know, our jails are filled with people with mental illness and learning disabilities. A lot of, and you know, he's white, but a lot of our Black men are in jail because they have mental illness and they have learning disabilities. And, you know, that's, you know, actually a couple months ago, there was a Black guy in Brooklyn who was walking down the street. He was known in the neighborhood to have a mental illness.
Yes,
so
I remember hearing this.
Everyone who lived there knew this is, I forget his name, you know, such and such, and he has a mental illness. And just kind of, you know, this is.
But he was harmless.
He was harmless, is what he does. But that was a neighborhood that it was being gentrified. I think it was in Crown Heights. It's being gentrified. So there were some gentrifiers that were there.
Had problems in and of itself.
Right. Gentrifiers that were there who saw him. And that particular day, he had some sort of like, I think it was like a shower head or something he had, and he was like running up to people, acting like it was a gun, which I admit can be very scary, you know. However, if you're from the neighborhood and you know this person has a mental illness, you kind of, you know, handle it a little bit differently than someone who you don't know, you know. So gentrifier called the police and he got shot and killed, which I've talked to some people who said the killing was justified, but my train of thought is we need to focus on mental health and mental illness and helping this community, helping that segment of the community. It's out there, and we criminalize them when they really need help. So this man had gotten help from whenever he was diagnosed, had the proper treatment and proper medication and therapy. Would we be at this point where he's now dead? Yeah. You know, and same for this man. If he had the proper help, would he have, you know, killed these two girls?
Yeah. You know? I think that's, you know, and especially how we deal with mental illness in our communities as opposed to the other community. You know, typically, you know, we try to keep it on the, you know, it's amongst the family, but they out running the streets. You know, like they'll go and utilize the resources out there and get them help and get them assistance. That's usually what you see.
This is not something you can pray away and go to church and lay hands on. You need a professional to actually help people. You know, there's an imbalance. There's a chemical imbalance there. So we'll be watching this and keeping her family in our prayers, and hoping that this, you know, we have some resolution that, you know, it's not going to bring her back. It's not going to make us, you know, feel better, but hopefully, you know, he gets the help that he needs, but also gets the punishment that he needs as well, because he needs to be punished for this.
Absolutely. I'm curious to see what his statement would be, or if he makes a statement. That's what I'm want to hear. Whether it's a confession or whatever. So, okay, there we go. Moving on. Yeah. There's no more woke. Are we done with woke?
I thought you had a woke.
That was it. That's it.
You want to talk about the DC HIV?
Oh yes. So DC just came out. Washington DC just came out. The CDC just came out with a report that Black women are the highest high-risk group for HIV now. So of all the diagnoses that have come out in 2016, which, you know, they're always like 2 years behind, Black women account for, I think, 44% of the new diagnosis of HIV in the U.S. Capitol. You know, and you and I had a conversation about this because I think, you know, the proliferation of HIV and AIDS, since it's been in our, you know, as we were growing up. And when it first came out, you know, it was the whole thing, you don't want to touch anybody, you don't want to do this or whatever. But I remember specifically the conversation in the education was that HIV is not typically a disease that's passed from a woman to a male. That when a woman contracts HIV, it is likely because she has had sex with a man who has had sex with a man.
when I lived in Atlanta many, many years ago, there was a man who lived in the house across the street from me, and he worked for the CDC. And we got in a conversation about AIDS and HIV. And he says, and I quote, that the AIDS virus really can't live within a woman's vagina. Mm-hmm. It is whatever chemicals and juices or whatever we have down there, it kills the virus. Mm-hmm. And so if you're old enough and of a particular age, and you remember, I remember when HIV first hit the scene, mm-hmm. and if you remember the specific wording that was used around HIV, it always said high risk sexual behavior. Mm-hmm. It was always specific to gay men.
Well, because high risk sexual behavior is identified as anal sex. Anal sex,
because when you have anal sex,
that's high risk.
It's high risk, and because when you have anal sex, it creates lots of rips and tears in the anus, mm-hmm. which allows, the virus to enter the body. Mm-hmm. So,
and marinate.
And marinate.
Yeah.
So, and, I tell my niece, I have a young niece she's old, she's in her 20s now, but when she started having sex, I'm pretty blunt. I'm blunt on this show. I'm blunt in real life. I told her, and I know some people do enjoy it, but at her young age, I said, don't have anal sex with guys, because that's high risk and you can easily contract the virus when you have anal sex. So don't even do it at that age. Now maybe she's older, she's protect herself and take precautions or whatever. But me myself personally, I don't do it. But I know some people. Last night we had a discussion.
We had a whole conversation.
We had a whole conversation about it.
Wait, can I tell you that I was sitting there with my eyes like this?
And me, I'm not gonna say her name, but I have another friend that we hung out with last night, and I've been friends with her a little bit less time than you, but I met her in college. We've been mm-hmm. friends, over a couple decades. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, long time. And she's blunt.
Very blunt.
She's very blunt. And I'm blunt too. So we talk about sex all the time too. But this particular person that this story was based around, she had anal sex with him, and from what I understand, how she describes it, he's very well endowed, and she says she enjoys it.
My eyes was like this.
And that's what the song she said his dick is. It's like that big. I'm like, bitch, no, bitch, no.
Had a bitch crying up in there.
Where is that going?
Ooh, wow,
Where is that going?
I was wide eyed, like a child, like.
Yeah, and she said, he was very gentle with her, and he coached her through it, and they use whatever lube they use, and she enjoys it. And some people do enjoy it. Men enjoy it. Some women enjoy it. It can't, I guess, if you like that kind of thing, it can be enjoyable, but protect yourselves, because, if you're engaged in this kind of behavior with a man who's having unprotected sex with another man.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it's not, well, I just, there's so much taboo around it, but like, can we keep that keep it real, because mm-hmm. that HIV is spreading amongst us mm-hmm. like at rapid fire rate, mm-hmm. and it's not making any sense. Mm-hmm. And I think because we don't talk about it, we don't talk about this part, and because there are men who are engaging in that DL thing is mm-hmm. We laugh and we joke about it, but it's real and it's affecting our community mm-hmm. at a huge rate. Mm-hmm. So and I'm tired of hearing stories, because I hear them all the time of women that contracted, mm-hmm. and so whether they go on and they're gonna spread it to everybody because they're mad, and mm-hmm. men do it too. But I'm the Black women that have contracted it, because it means that you have there's man to man transmission somewhere along the line,
and I think it also goes into our society, especially Black society, and maybe we're more open now, but back then, really being gay was a taboo. It wasn't talked about. If you had an uncle who had that little special friend, your granddaddy couldn't tell you, or your grandma couldn't tell you that ain't his boyfriend. That's a special friend. They
had an uncle named Uncle Peaches,
right? That's a special friend. But if we as a society can relax on what people do in their private homes and what mm-hmm. what give them enjoyment, let them do that. As long as I read this somewhere, as long as whoever you want to have sex with is not an animal, not a kid, and doesn't say no, Do what the fuck you want to do.
That's a good motto.
You know,
that's a good.
You know, do what you want to do. Whether you think it's wrong or right, it's not up to you.
Yeah.
Let the person live. Because at the end of the day, and I said this before, people want to be loved, and they're gonna get that love. Let them get that love from where. From wherever they want to get it from. And if it's a sin, you know, let them deal with it in whatever form it's gonna come. We all sin. Absolutely. Who says that's like the more one like, sin is
my sin is littler than yours?
Yeah, who says that? You know, who you know,
my sin ain't that big. Like, you know, that don't.
So it's like, you know, we have to create an environment where people feel safe and comfortable living their true lives, because then we won't have all these DL men. You know. Agreed.
You know, and that's my sentiment exactly. If it wasn't such a stigma attached to it, and you know, the shame and the guilt and all of this that, you know, we put on it, then maybe we wouldn't have this, because this is life or death. I don't care what all the prolonging drugs, you know, you can take PrEP, you know, drug and prevention and all this other stuff. Like we wouldn't even be dealing with it at the levels that we're dealing with it. We would just be honest with ourselves.
This is life and death. This is life and death. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's life and death. And I know I take my life pretty seriously. I've gotten to this point in my life. I haven't had any diseases, and no shame to anyone but I haven't any diseases. I ain't trying to get that shit. I ain't trying to get that shit, you know, at my age. You know what I'm saying? So I take the precautions.
Collect the Social Security, and you got
you know what I'm saying? So I'm very upfront with, you know, whomever I'm dealing with. You know, we need to get tested. Yeah. And if we ain't getting tested, we using condoms. Absolutely. And if we're not doing one or two, then we ain't doing nothing.
And that should be, I mean, just, you know, PSA, because as now that I'm older, and, you know, when you're younger, it's like, yeah, I mean, I look, you know, everybody is safe because you look safe, but like, no, I need to see papers.
That's what, man.
And if that's too much of an issue for you and too much trouble, then you know what? Maybe we don't need to be rocking like that. And that, to me, like that, that should be your deal breaker. If y'all can't go and get tested together and look, and you know what? It's so easy now. They send you the results on your phone. You know, look, send me, do a share and send me. I need to see. I need to know. And if honestly, like, if you can't have that conversation with your partner and you can't be honest, then y'all don't need to be bumping uglies. Y'all don't need to be getting together. It does, because it's too much going on out here. It's too much going on out here. It's too much going on. And you know, I think we have this you know, it's like selective ignorance, because the information is out there. The information is there. It's available, but we choose to stay ignorant and be ignorant. That to me, like, then it becomes a choice. It's that not slavery. Slavery ain't a choice, right? But the ignorance is a choice, because we have so much access. We have access to the information, you know. So we got to do something as a community. We need to come together. We need, you know, care for our own and do for our own. And you know, this is serious. When I read that, it was shocking. But then, you know, and when it's so sad. It's like us Black women. We are the highest rate of new HIV diagnoses in the U.S. Capitol. Now, why?
That's it's heavy.
So
yeah.
All right. Okay.
So moving along. So if you don't take anything from this conversation, get tested and use protection.
Please.
There you go.
Please.
All right. Anyway. All right. We're moving on. What? Where are we at? Dick and Report?
We're in the Weekend Report.
All right. Let me take a sip.
I used to be scared of the dick. Now I go lips to the shit. Handle it like a real bitch.
Okay.
For real.
I just want to shout out my cognac glasses. Let me tell you. So I got these glasses from a thrift store in New York called Housing Works. I went in there one time.
I know. WERKS.
Yep, Housing Works. And these are so heavy. Cognac glasses.
They're beautiful.
I love these glasses. Anyway, I only bring them out for company. If not, you better use them fucking plastic cups in there. Anyway, all right. So I had another listener reach out. And you know what? I just want to say shout out to our listeners, because we get people in our DMs sending us Facebook messages saying that, you know, they love our podcast. They have questions about their.
I'm so happy and grateful.
You know, about our episodes. They want us to talk about certain topics. And we really, really, really appreciate that. We love y'all so much. it's amazing. So thank y'all. Keep them coming. So
who listening?
Right. That's what I'm saying. The crazy thing is that can we talk about our history?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know which history, but go ahead.
So me and Sean have known each other for a long time.
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. This is my home. This is my ace bone coon. So a couple months ago, Sean was like, we should start a podcast. And I was down. I don't know. I had a podcast last year, a little small one, but I wanted to start another one. But the dynamic of this one is just amazing because we have such a great friendship.
We do.
And like this thing that we have, this is like 20 years in the making. Like this chemistry we have is 20 years in the making.
Yeah.
And it just makes this so much fun to do.
I look forward to it. Like this is if I have a crazy week or whatever, I'm like, I cannot wait. I can't wait to talk to you. I can't wait to do this.
Because prior to actually us starting the podcast, we talked for like an hour and a half.
We would do this anyway. Now y'all just get to hear it.
And then we're like, oh, wait a minute, let's save this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
So anyway,
that was so sweet. That was so nice.
All right, so this weekend, this comes from a listener who actually inboxed me on Instagram about a situation that she's having with her. It's not really her husband; it's her boyfriend. I'm not quite sure if they live together, but he spends a lot of time at her house. So I'm gonna read it. And pardon me if it sounds like I'm reading because I am, and I'm old, so I gotta. You're okay about that? Okay, I read the shit anyway. So let's see. So a listener reached out regarding one of our weekend dick reports, our past weekend dick reports about orgasms. In the episode, we talked about the expectation of having an orgasm each time you have sex. I want to. So, and if you can't make me orgasm, you're gonna
off with your head.
Off with your head, and you're gonna watch me orgasm right in your face. Anyway. It's amazing what the confidence that age gives you. Because if I was 20,
I would never be. We probably couldn't even talk amongst ourselves.
We couldn't talk, and if I would just I would suck it up.
Be scared of the dick.
Now I'm like, if I didn't reach orgasm, I'll just suck it up and be like, okay. Now it's like, you can't. Let me tell you a story real quick before I get into this. I was thinking about this earlier. So I hate to keep talking about past relationships, but past relationship. So my ex, we were together for a long time, but he always made sure I had an orgasm. Always. One time I was like almost there, and he came before I did. I probably could have stabbed him.
Yeah.
I've never felt that kind of anger before in my life. I was so mad. Oh my God, I was so mad because it was. I have a certain technique that builds it up to a certain point, and I was like building it up. I was ready. That motherfucker came before me. I swear to God, if I had a knife, he would have died. He would have died. I was so mad.
Oh, man.
Anyway, all right.
Oh,
I digress. Anyway. All right, let me read this thing. It's not about me. All right. So she's in a relationship with her live-in boyfriend, or he spends a lot of time at her house. And she's happy with the relationship overall, but the sex is the weakest part. She hardly ever orgasms. She's concerned that her pussy is broken. She's broken down there. Most of the time, she just fakes it so that she can kind of get it over with. And she's so she's almost an empty nester, which is an important part of this. But until her son leaves, she's also worried that she's going to hear them having sex.
The son is going to hear,
right? Which also affects, her being in the mood and enjoying the whole thing. So she's asking, what can she do to enjoy sex more?
So I think my advice in that situation, because I have a young son who lives at home, of course. So there are times when you want to get in the mood, and that it's all psychological. So you're thinking like somebody else in there, but I think there are creative ways, or foreplay should be like the biggest part of this, where it doesn't necessarily have to be, full on, but, giving and receiving head, hey, meet me in the bathroom. Hey, and I am so for like planning sex or like sexual escapades. I like that, doing it in advance. Like, okay, we're gonna go to movies and sit in the back. I'm gonna meet you in the back, and we ain't even gonna say what we're gonna do. Just be ready, right? Make sure I got my skirt on. Easy access, right? It's the little things like that. To me, becomes fun and exciting in and of itself. When you're like. Meet me in the bathroom. Like, I'm okay, fine. I'll go into the men's bathroom. Like, just meet me in there. I'll be in there in the stall. So nobody can see my feet. Just the little things, like that to me, the fun of planning where, because to me, okay, so I know you're queen of the orgasm. Me, it's not always in every look. Everybody can't be. I get it. Okay, so everybody can have what you got. Okay, everybody can have what you got. But I do enjoy, but it's it's not like 100% all the time. And I'm more of it. You gotta give me head. Like that to me. That's the deal breaker. But it's not all. It's not like all the time. Like that to me. Like that's hard. The penetration. Having an orgasm for penetration, it's like a multicolored unicorn for me. It's possible, but it's very difficult to achieve, and especially when you are, I like a little bit of voyeurism. Like I like that, almost being caught. Somebody's gonna see. Like sometimes I don't even care, but I have to be completely and totally relaxed and comfortable to even get to that point. Like I can't. Shit can't be going on outside and all this other stuff, all the distractions. It's not gonna happen for me.
What's really funny is we talked about this before, but you have like a playlist that you play doing. And to me, I cannot. It has to be quiet.
You said that.
I cannot listen to because that's a distraction to me.
And it's not because I have songs that will trigger thoughts and the whole thing. And it's a carefully selected playlist of songs that I know is going down. I know how it's going down. That's so funny.
Hold on, let me turn this shit off.
Yeah, you said that. You like silence. No, I have.
I like to hear breaths. I like to hear like the bed squeak. I like to hear all that shit. But anyway, so my advice to her was, first of all, sex is the last thing that happens during sex. You got to do foreplay. So if you're send him text messages. Send him pictures. If there's certain things you like in porn, send it to him. So it builds up the momentum of you actually having sex. It just doesn't start in the bed. That's like the very last. That's the end result of it. So I think first start with that to kind of spice it up. Now, in terms of like your son, like I really never really had the issue of like kids in the room because I don't have any kids. So I've never really like encountered that. But I've been in places where there's other people in the house and I don't want them to hear. So there are things that you can do that don't require like the actual motion of like making noise. So what I suggest is, you can give head, you can give him, fellatio. He can cunnilingus you. I don't know if I use that word right. Cunnilingus to you. You can do that.
Eat you out.
Eat you out. Lick it. You can do that. You can give him a hand job. He can finger you. Stuff that's like quiet. You know what I mean? And then sometimes, like one of the best sex, episodes I've ever had was like when you had to be quiet and you like kind of like sneaking it. Like, okay, real quiet. Don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shit's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So do things that don't require a lot of movement. But also incorporate foreplay in it,
it's forget that.
Take sex out the bed, like you said. Take it out the bedroom. Do it in the car. Do it in the movie theater. I've literally given head while my dude was driving, or we had to pull over.
Head in the whip, and that's it.
You know what I'm saying? Bitch, you had to pull over. But man, I'm telling you, I be telling y'all too much. But I did this. It was on a road trip, and I did it, and this motherfucker had to go to sleep. I had to start driving. Fucking passed
drain the life flood out of him. The whole life force gone.
He was like, I can't even drive. He slept, I know, for a good hour and a half.
All right, girl, we'll give you a
you know. Because it was unexpected. It was very unexpected. You know what I mean? You know, so you gotta like put some excitement into it. You know, having sex in the bedroom, sometimes it can be a little boring and monotonous.
Boring, yeah.
You know, and especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. Sex in the first, you know, I would say few months, 6 months, maybe a year, 2 years, it can be exciting as shit. But after a while, and especially if you're living with somebody, you have a certain routine, that shit gets old.
It can.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta spice it up. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it spicy.
You gotta be like, meet me on the fire escape.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're in a restaurant, maybe in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Or you know, you're in a movie theater. You know, wear a skirt, open your legs, have them finger you. You know what I'm saying? You know,
all types of things.
All kind of things. There's so much shit that you can do. You know what I'm saying? All things. You know, all throughout the day. You know, kiss on his neck, hit his butt, grab his dick when he come in the house. You know, just do stuff. You know, spice it up. Don't be scared. So
that was good. Yeah. Good advice. Good advice.
Just spice it up a little bit. So that's what we are with that.
Get your freak on, girl.
Get your freak on, girl. Get your orgasm, girl. Don't man. I'm telling you, the worst thing you can do for yourself is to fake an orgasm. And I'm telling you because I've done it plenty of times in my 20s, and I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm not doing it no more. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I'm very honest because you know sometimes it's like, oh, you can't like, no.
Yeah, I'm honest. Like I mean, you know, I've had to do later. He didn't ask me at that time, but later on, you know, did you come? No, I didn't. And he was very open to like, well, what can I do to make you have an orgasm? And that's the kind of relationship you want where it's open and you can tell him what you want, you know, what you want. And also for vaginal orgasms, because I can have orgasms vaginally and with clitoral stimulation. Like people think that you need a big penis to orgasm, but I'm not. I like a big penis. I'm not saying that I don't like a big penis. I appreciate it.
All the beat.
I appreciate all I need. However, your G-spot is less than 3 inches inside of your vagina. It's up. So if you have your man stick his 2 fingers in and just do like this, it's like it feels like a walnut. It's like
it's rigid.
It's rigid, but it's right there. And if you press on it, you can immediately feel it. So just have your man or even yourself. You got to learn your body. You know, play with yourself and do that so you can figure out how to fuck
where that placement is.
Where it is.
Once you learn,
girl, it ain't no motherfucking turn back. I'm telling you. That's what I'm like. There's no turning back.
Like, come here, bring me your fingers. Come here, let me show you.
Right. Right. And guide his fingers to what you want him to do. Guide him. Or her, whatever. Whatever floats, you know.
But it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that's my advice to her. That's my advice to you guys. You know, life is too short to live a life without orgasms. That's all I'm saying.
Man, you are so, you know what? That's like a t-shirt. Because that's so real. Like, who doesn't ever have them in their life?
Lord, I can't. And you know, they said, I forget what the actual percentage of women who don't have orgasms, but it is a high percentage. It's very high.
Yeah, or like don't know what it feels like at all.
I promise you, Lord. So I think this weekend Dick is like going on and on. So I remember the first time I had an orgasm, I made myself orgasm. Girl, that was a long motherfucking weekend. I just gotta tell you. That shit was long. It was a long weekend.
Spending time with myself this weekend.
Man, that was all day, Saturday, Sunday. I was tired. I was tired. That shit wears you out. Orgasms wear you out. They do. Sleepy.
They do. That's the best sleep too.
What?
That's the coma sleep. You're in a coma.
Girl, I got the fan going. Nigga, what?
Snoring and shit. Like,
that's a coma sleep. Lord have mercy.
All right.
Moving on. I can talk about sex all day, but we're gonna
do a special, just a special for you. So maybe like once a month, and it'll be like an extended, nice, dick report. So if you have like a something you want me to talk about, a sexual experience or a question you have about sex, send it to me because I'm really considering
this was Sean's idea. I talk about sex all the time.
You need an outlet.
I need an outlet. Thank you.
That's the kind of friend I am.
Right. Get you some friends like that. So if you have questions, let me know. And maybe I can do like a 10-minute little something
like
extra.
just like an education piece. That would be
yeah. I'm willing to talk about it. Anyway, all right, let's go.
All right, so moving on, we are now at the reminisce part of the show. I reminisce. So this weekend is my reminisce. So I didn't tell you what it was. So it is. Let me tell you what it is. It's John Blaze, Fat Joe, the song from 1999. So it was off the Don Cartagena album. And this was a time. So who was on it? It was Nas started it off. Big Pun, Jadakiss, and Raekwon, the chef, was on it. So I don't know if you remember the video. The video like had Mac 10 in it, and it had it was because it was during the time when the Locks was with the Rough Riders. So there was a lot of Rough Riders, and and this was what I would consider. It was like the post Biggie era. So it was post Biggie, post Tupac, the whole East West thing, and and I'm such a fan of Fat Joe because he is motherfucking consistent. When you think his first album came out 20 years ago, and he has, you can hear him today on the radio.
Yeah, he puts out bangers.
Motherfucker is consistent, okay? He's also my neighbor. He lives in Florida. But this song was, to me, it was kind of bringing it back to New York. So, like I said, it was, after Biggie and Tupac, and I mean, it had, look what it had on it. It had Nas, and from what I understand, Nas had to rewrite his lyrics after he heard Big Pun on this.
Oh, really?
Because I'm telling you, Big Pun, rest in peace, was, lyrically, he was damn near untouchable. And I know a lot of people, y'all can fight me on it. And, he was cut down, lost his life at a very young age. I think he was only like 26, something like that. But had lyrics for days. So this is a little short story because now that we are sitting here in the Bronx. But I met Big Pun and Fat Joe at the BBQs that we were at. It was a party there that night. And I'm telling you, Big Pun was a dancer, as big as he was. And it took 4 of my homegirls, and we had to like circle around him, like bring around the Rosie. And that nigga was dancing and doing a 2-step hip hop. It was so much fun. He enjoyed himself and he had a good time. So rest in peace to Big Pun. That was my Big Pun story. But this song, John Blaze, to me just set off. It was like bringing it back to New York, and they had a solid, I'm a Jada fan to the day. I'm underneath the ground. Raekwon, and Nas was like, he always dropped jewels. I got my little feelings personally about Nas, but he showed and improved. So this was the shit. So it was John Blaze, 1999.
Man, that was like how
19 years ago.
19. Lord have mercy. I cannot believe shit like that was like 19 years ago. And every time we do this reminisce, it's like, it was 20 years ago.
Like, you old bitch. Bitch, you old. Bitch, I'm old. Like, motherfucker, there's people walking around now that wasn't even born for that song. So, that's my reminisce. I don't know, like, that was like underground kind of hip hop to me. Like I said, Fat Joe was like, I'm a Fat Joe fan. I think Fat Joe be in his feelings too. Like, he's like a 50 Cent to me. And I think they're like, they're Geminis, they're the same sun sign.
No, 50 is a Cancer.
Oh, it's Cancer. Okay, so they must be, they're the same sun signs. Whatever they are, they're the same, real talkative, but they be in their feelings a lot. Can we talk about the fact? Okay, I didn't want to go on the 50. I was talking about John Blaze. I don't know if you had anything to say about it. That was my shit back in the day. But okay, so I just want to talk to you on 50 Cent real quick because this whole thing with him, and I know it was the ratchet, but this whole thing with 50 and what's the boxer that
Mayweather?
Yes.
Yo, did you see that?
Look, it's like a dueling couple. Like, y'all done broke up. Now y'all want to get on social media and just dog each other out. Stop.
Craziness.
It's the love hate, the love triangle.
Did you read? So I guess Mayweather put out a statement, and then 50 came out with like the
amended version. Yeah. No, I wish I could find it, and that was
Dying.
And I thought it was the real thing. I was like, oh shit.
It might have been a real thing.
Can't spell. You were confused. Everybody's confused. Oh man. But don't they just seem like a warring couple. Like it's the War of the Roses. I'm like, y'all going in like y'all had a thing. Seriously. But it's so funny though. I'm here for it.
I'm a Cancer and I swear, oh God, I would never date another Cancer. I dated 2 Cancers in my life. And man, we both cannot be crying. Can you imagine dating 50?
Had a bitch crying up in here.
He would get on my nerves, man. And 50 is handsome and shit, but I couldn't get over it.
He sure is, but he be in his feelings.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, he can't let shit go. Like, how can you let that go? And both of them.
That's me. That's
me.
So
I just, okay, so that was a reminisce. Yes. All right, moving on. We are in the support Black businesses section of the show.
Yep. So it's my turn. And so I chose this company. And you might be like, well, why did you choose this? Because they already have a big platform. So I chose Essence Magazine.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why I chose Essence Magazine.
Is it Black owned still?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
So we're highlighting actually Essence Communications. It's a 40-year-old brand that owns Essence Magazine and Essence Festival. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I chose it is because it was recently bought by Richelieu Dennis. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Mm-hmm. He's the founder and former owner of Shea Moisture. And
the brand from Sierra Leone.
Exactly. Yep. So he's originally from Liberia, but he spent time in Sierra. They went back and forth. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess it was like last year. Everybody was up in arms when Dennis sold Shea Moisture to Unilever. I think he sold it to Unilever.
Okay.
Yeah. However, we didn't know what his bigger plan was. Mm-hmm. So what he did was he used the funds to create Essence Ventures LLC, and he bought Essence Communications from Time Inc., making Essence Magazine once again one of the only Black-owned businesses. Let me go back. Black-owned publications. Wow. So, and I remember when this happened because, I have natural hair. And I have a lot of friends that have natural hair. And they were... I got natural hair. We all got natural hair. So, but a lot of my friends were so upset that he sold this company. They were like, I'm not buying Shea Moisture ever again. I'm so disappointed. We got to keep our Black businesses. They went in. I love Shea Moisture. And even when it's sold, my cabinet is stocked with Shea Moisture. That shit works for me. I wasn't stopping, whatever. So, so he used the funds to buy Essence Magazine, Essence Communications. And he was definitely making chess moves while most people who were angry at him selling Shea Moisture were thinking about checkers. He was thinking about the bigger picture. And this is a direct quote from him. This was never about building a business. This was about taking care of and investing back in our community. It's an economic philosophy that factored into his purchase of Essence Communications. If we're relying on someone else to take care of our issues, then we're never going to have true freedom, is what he said. So just to kind of give a little background about this guy. He was born in Monrovia, Liberia. And I don't know if you guys know about Liberia. So back, I guess when slavery was abolished, some of these white folks wanted to get us the fuck out, like they're trying to do now. Yeah. So they made a way to have these formerly enslaved people move to Liberia. So there's a huge population of ex-enslaved people that live in Liberia.
Wasn't that the Black Star Network or Marcus Garvey?
Yeah, that was a part of it. Yep. So his mother was an economist, and his father was an insurance executive. He attended Babson College in Boston, and after he graduated, he wasn't able to return to Liberia. So he, along with his college roommate and his mother, used his grandmother's skincare recipes and began selling organic creams and soaps and elixirs, which eventually grew to be Shea Moisture. Mm-hmm. So he built this huge brand, sold it, and now we have Essence Magazine back again.
I love it.
So
I love it.
I love this story.
You did that. You was playing chess while I was over here playing checkers.
You know what I'm saying?
They ain't even Black old.
Right. He was making chess moves. So there's a great interview that he did. I guess we can talk about other platforms, but I watch Breakfast Club a lot. So there was a good interview that he did with Breakfast Club. They kind of talked about
how old is he?
No, I don't know. He looking at him, maybe in his late 40s, 50s, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't take him more than his 50s, mid 50s, if that old. But it's a great interview. If you go, just Google it. It's a great interview on YouTube. You can check him out. But shout out to Essence Magazine. You can get them. I think it's essence.com is the website. Yeah. Essence on Instagram. You know how to find Essence. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that because once again we have a Black communication that's Black owned. So
I'm glad you just gave me a little bit of education because I honestly thought it was not Black owned.
Yeah. Time Inc. bought it a few years ago. They had it, and now we got it again. So here we go.
All right, Essence Magazine. All right. Are we at the end? Is this the end?
We're at the end of the road.
I want to know.
It looks like I'm going to the beach, but I'm not.
Bitch ain't going nowhere but downtown.
Girl, I'm going downtown.
Ain't no Sarah's real quick.
I just want to feel like I'm going to the beach.
I love it, though. I'm loving the look. I'm loving the vibe you're giving me. It's so good. I had such a good time. I always have a good time.
I always love when you come. I'm like, calm down. Let me tell you. So I have my group of friends here. But I swear, it's never the time that I have with Sean. That shit be like,
we get it popping. Like what? We don't get no sleep. I'm like, God damn it, the sun is coming up.
I know.
Damn.
So I'm thinking our next live, I gotta come down to
then we gotta do it. I'm gonna pick a location and we're gonna it's gonna be good. So we're gonna play.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. So subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, CastPod. Where else are we at? We're on YouTube, so this actually you'll see us on YouTube. Yeah. We at your baby daddy's house. We at your baby mama's house.
Your grandma's
house. We everywhere, okay? Also, what else we need to do? Oh, follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We are getting it together. We're getting our Twitter game together. We're getting our IG together. We want to thank y'all for all the support, the love that you're giving, the following, the questions, the comments. We love it. Please keep it coming.
Yeah.
And then also you can keep up to date with us on our website, see where we are. That's what I'm saying podcast.com. And we always have to give a shout out.
Yeah, always got to give a shout out to our mega producer, Vegas World. You can get them on Vegas World Inc. on Instagram and Twitter. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's this drink. Sorry. I'm drinking. Vegas World Inc. on Twitter and Hip Hop Now on Instagram.
Yeah, so we'll be doing a joint podcast with them very soon.
Very soon.
Check for that.
That's going to be exciting. So thank you so much for listening, subscribing, liking us on social media. And we are out.
Love.
Peace.
Next time.
Drop it on the random.